Hey, this is JC. I want to take a moment and thank all of you for your support. The process of making this podcast has had its difficulties at times. For instance, in this episode, Big Bo's mic went out just prior to recording, and it wasn't realized until post-production. We had the option, of course, of re-recording the episode, but we felt that the content of what we had recorded was great and overshadowed the audio issues. We also felt that re-recording the episode to attempt to emulate the original recording would have felt inauthentic to you, the listener. We apologize for the quality of the audio in this episode and have taken steps since its recording to mitigate future audio quality issues. Again, thank you so much for your support and enjoy episode 003 of the Street Warrior Radio podcast.
This episode of Street Warrior Radio is supported by Amazon Click-Through. If you'd like to support the podcast, which I'm sure you do because you love listening to us, go to our website at streetwarriorradio.com and click the Amazon link before you do your shopping on Amazon. You're going to do that shopping anyway. You're going to get that new pistol grip. You're going to get your pre-workout. You're going to get whatever you're going to get on Amazon because you have Amazon Prime or whatever you have through Amazon. It's cheap. It's easy. And all it does is help support our podcast. You go to our website, streetwarriorradio.com, go to the Amazon link, do your shopping, and that helps support our podcast. And we thank you in advance.
This is Street Warrior Radio episode 003 with your hosts, Big Bo and me, JC. What's going on, Big Bo?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there today.
Yeah?
Yeah. How's everything been?
Been great, man.
Good.
Podcast is growing.
Yes, sir. I see Twitter followers.
Yeah, in the world it has. It's actually blown up a little bit.
Yeah.
Half of them are, fake news bot sites, but whatever. I'll take the numbers.
I'll take the numbers.
I'll take the numbers. It's fine.
I'm trying to get our word out. Maybe somebody will let Trump know what we're doing over here.
Maybe. I heard he does know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he's going to tweet about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think I want him tweeting about us.
Yeah, we're going to have to shut down at that point.
Yeah. 100% have to shut down after that.
So...
Episode 3?
Episode 3.
Episodes 1 and 2 were in the book. Got some positive feedback from people.
Did get some positive feedbacks. You know what? You know what really grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears?
Is this damn audio issue. So, like in the first episode, right, it sounded weird, right? There were some people that complained about the audio.
Brand new. We were brand new to the podcast.
Yeah, like I was eating the microphone, you were screaming into it.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Dogs, chains in the background.
And this is like a bike trying to get back on it and ride it after not riding it for years. Because I used to do production stuff, kind of professionally, at least I faked my way through that.
Yeah, of course.
So trying to get back on it. And then episode 2, I thought I had it figured out.
Yeah. It took us almost an hour.
Almost.
To start recording.
Technical difficulties. And then I get feedback that you just can't satisfy people, You put out a quality product and just people just get mad about it.
Well, I mean, you know what? That's what happens in this line of work. No matter what kind of work, people are going to critique what you do. But I think
it's insane jealousy is what it is.
The overall feedback that I've got is that it was good, and there's some just things, minor little things to tweak, like the bass in your voice.
Yeah, apparently my voice is way too sexy for speakers.
Billy D.
So Billy D. His is more smooth though.
Yeah, yours is more rugged.
Yeah. James
Earl.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm just saying, that's what I hear.
But if I have to compare it,
We're on the streets.
I'll take him, or he's got a great voice.
Go ahead.
Morgan Freeman.
No, that's not deep though. That's more of like
no, but it's like
your weird uncle talking to you.
Right, but you listen.
Oh, hands down.
Because the voice just draws you in.
That's the voice of that. I imagine that's what Jesus sounded like.
You know what I sound like to me? You remember Ralph from The Simpsons?
I can see that.
Yeah.
I've always
I'm helping. That's what I sound like to myself.
I don't think that's what you sound like at all.
That's what it sounds
I'd
like.
give you more of a Barney from the Simpsons.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I mean, if we're going...
Hey, guys. Yeah, the whole drunk thing.
Yeah, the whole drunk thing. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's jump into this. You ready?
Yeah, what are we going to talk about today?
All right, this is dealing with the negative.
Ooh.
You know?
I don't know why I asked what we're talking about today, considering the fact that I put all these notes in a Word format.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. They don't know that.
But good topic, though.
Yeah, they
good topic.
They don't know what, who...
Well, they do now.
Yeah, they don't know you put this in Word format for us.
Yeah.
So negative people, negative things, right? So dealing with negative people.
So negative people.
Who don't want to see you succeed.
Ooh.
The crabs in a bucket.
Ooh, yeah.
How are you dealing with those? What are some things that you notice with people that don't want to see you succeed? Why is it that you think they don't want you to succeed?
Well, actually, I think, why wouldn't you want somebody to succeed? I mean, why, if you were to look at somebody that was being successful and you weren't, right? What would you think would be the underlying reason for that? I would say most likely jealousy.
Yeah.
Or if it's not jealousy, then it's that person. I think most negative people have some sort of baseline of insecurities that they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
Right? And people look at insecurities as weakness. They're not really weaknesses. We all have insecurities, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hate taking my shirt off at the beach.
Right, yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Like mine.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, horrible bodies.
You don't want that to be in public because we're insecure about it, right?
Yeah, you're insecure about it.
But it's the same thing as like getting up and speaking in front of people. You get nervous or whatever, but...
Do you think maybe besides being jealous and insecurity, do you think maybe they're just regretful in their lives as well?
And that's entirely possible.
That could be something.
Is regret another insecurity?
It could be.
Right?
I mean, if you see someone... so this happens, all the time in law enforcement, military jobs. You see the dude who's been there 2 years less than you, and he just got promoted. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, well, what did I do?
That's rough. That's rough for people.
What didn't I do?
Right.
So, and then I feel like those people who can't look and say, I'm gonna grind harder. So, like, let's just use this podcast straight up. Me and you were having this conversation the other day when we were supposed to record the podcast, but some things hung up, and we were talking about our followers not being up because this is the social media era.
Right.
Followers got to be up. Mm-hmm. People got to hear about you, and if they're not following you, they don't care about you. And we're looking at some of these other podcasts that are coming out that are not like ours, but in the similar field, and we're just like, how the heck did they get 3,000 listens to their podcast
like
that, and we're working on 100?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is actually more than 100.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we didn't look at that, me and you, and sit here and be like, I'm going to get on that. I'm going to listen to their podcast. And I'm going to tear it down. I'm going to get there and I'm going to pull them all the way down. I'm going to get on there. I'm going to hate. I'm going to say the audio is crap. No, what we did was like, what are we going to do to grind hard? And not that kind of grind.
Yeah, well, I don't want that again. So anyway, yeah, but that's exactly right. And it's right because people in your workplace, people in your life that are hating on you and doing things to sabotage you because of your success, and they don't want you to succeed because they're not succeeding. That's not a failure on your part. It's a failure on their part. And it's just like if we were hating on some of these other, podcasts that are again in the same field. But I think it also goes back to what you talked about in episode 1 when it came to working out. It was that instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting this out here. I think it's awesome.
The world.
Why isn't that everybody think it's awesome?
The world should think it's awesome.
And and we had to actually sit back and check ourselves and be like, it takes time.
Yeah, we're 2 episodes in.
Yeah, we're building.
We're building.
We got to be patient.
I would love to build. Because I think that some of those people that get on Instagram and they're just boom 4,000 followers. I don't think that that's necessarily a true fan base. And I would love to build an organic fan base. Like you love 80s rock. I like 80s music. The best thing you hear about a lot of those 80s bands was they started out at, CBGB? The club. Yeah,
or any nameless club. I mean,
yeah.
That's not a nameless club. But
yeah,
I mean,
they started out at that club and, they built their, they played shows there once a week, and they started out with 10 people, and then, before,
for years.
For years. And before, they knew it, they were selling that joint down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
our struggle becomes not being a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's true.
Which, of course, we're not doing the podcast for success. We're doing it to share our life lessons because we feel like we can help people, but
success will come.
Success will come.
Yeah.
It comes with hard work.
It does. It really does.
Right. And in that, people are going to be jealous. So, like, what we haven't experienced yet, which other podcasts have experienced, and I can even name those, like Primary and Secondary, their modcast. Super awesome. Matt Landfair that does that, awesome dude, fellow cop, super knowledgeable, and then creates these panels of people that, we're talking like top tier one of the industries.
Yeah.
From military to
Lockheed Martin.
I don't know if he's ever had Lockheed Martin on there, but we're talking dudes from, from tier one special ops units to SWAT cops to firearms instructors to industry insiders to gun manufacturers and all that stuff. And he's made a success out of it, but in that, because they have a certain style, right, and it's kind of abrasive. If you're not used to that, it can come off as abrasive, and there's a lot of people that turns off. And it's just like with anybody else. You're gonna, and we haven't experienced that yet on social media. I'm sure it's coming, and I'm sure some of these topics that we're going to cover are going to generate some of that.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're cops in the first place is going to generate some of that. But I'll give you another. John Burke. He's got, in the last couple years, he's just blown up on Instagram and social media. And I think he's got a podcast now, but he's an Army veteran. Actually, I think he's still in National Guard or something like that.
That's not real.
But, but he, I think he was a drill instructor or something like that.
Okay.
And
I respect that.
Very conservative minded, you know, but not in a crazy, in some sort of crazy way. He speaks his mind, and he gets a lot of haters for that.
Well, when that comes, or just, in your workplace, how do you deal with the negative people? How do you deal with negativity at work? How do you deal with that in the workplace to not bring you down? Because like I said, I think episode 1 or 2, I'm super into the energy and positive energy and being in somewhere that's,
and I think
fruitful for your spirit.
I think that's where it is. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
The answer is remaining positive, not focusing on the minority of people.
100% agree.
Because the minority of people that are opposed to something genuinely and generally are usually the loudest ones in the room.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get their point across, right? Doesn't matter what the motivation is, doesn't matter how wrong they are, right? But that's the voice you keep hearing, right? And it's so easy for us as people, as human beings, to focus on the negative and get down on ourselves. You can't worry about those people. No. You can't worry about that voice because
you're not going to please everybody. And my grandmother always used to say that. I'm sure everyone's heard this a million times. They hated on Jesus.
Right.
You're not Jesus. They're going to hate on you. 100%. You cannot please everybody. You're never going to be able to please anybody. You're not going to be able to please 100% of everybody.
No, and
all the time.
Yeah, and as soon as you can accept that, the easier it is to move forward.
Yeah, people are going to hate on everything you're doing. Like you said, we're doing this podcast. We're cops. People already have a negative feeling towards police officers.
Right.
So they're automatically just going to come out and be like, these are just two cops trying to, cross over and make us feel warm and fuzzy to the police. F the police. I ain't finna, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. That's your opinion. You don't have to listen. I'm not going to force you to listen.
No. But,
give us a shot.
But if you want to stick around and maybe learn something that we've learned.
Yeah.
Because, us being cops, that plays into the general theme of the podcast, right? Because,
of course.
Because a lot of the lessons we've learned come from since we've been cops.
Yeah,
right?
Cops, military.
And of course, cops look at the world differently. It's just how it is.
Oh man, 100%.
Because it changes your perspective.
You get on them jaded glasses real quick.
You can,
and them on, and you're just like, you want to see how stupid people can be? Go direct traffic.
I'm not even going to touch that subject because we can go on for 3 hours on that.
Go direct traffic if you want to find out where the idiot of humanity lives.
You can literally have the entire road shut down because of a death. And you're going to get somebody.
Can I go here? Hey, officer.
I need to go through there.
I got to get home. We're cooking pot roast tonight. I got to get... Ma'am, someone's dead. I'm cooking pot roast. And you're just like, okay.
Less mouths I have to feed.
I have literally had lanes of traffic shut down and one lane open and someone drove past me and was like, thanks a lot, motherfucker. And I was like,
what?
I'm sorry. I didn't get into this traffic accident here, sir.
What did I do?
I'm simply letting the fire department put the car that's on fire out so that you can get home safely.
It's incredible.
True story. That literally happened to me. And I looked at the dude like, are you serious? What did I do to you? Sir, please come back and speak to me.
Boy, and you want to talk about a moment you hate your job?
Yeah.
It's that moment right there.
It's that moment right there.
You're just like, oh my God.
Because not only are you, worried about the people that were in this accident, and it could be bad, it could be nothing, but someone could need some medical attention. You're worried about the car whizzing past you at 95 miles per hour.
Either way, the road is shut down for a reason.
Yes.
It's not just because we wanted to.
Yeah, trust me, I don't want to get up there.
Because I don't want to be on the highway.
I don't want to be on the freeway. Some supervisor's going to hear this and be like, no, I knew they didn't want to get up there. I knew they were trying to pawn those traffic accidents off. It's not what I'm saying.
No,
what
not
I'm
at all.
What I'm saying is, it's just...
They feel this way too.
Yeah, everybody feels this way. So when you're up there, give those first responders a break, everybody, okay?
So, and if you see a first responder on the side of the road, it's national law. I mean, there's law in every state. Slow down or move over. If you can't move over, slow down. It's easy. It's simple as that.
Pot roast.
Pot roast. Gotta get home to that pot roast. But again, you're dealing with people's negativity, right?
Yeah, you're dealing with that negativity.
And you can either blow it off and move on, or you can dwell on it.
I dwelled on that day. That whole day,
it's hard not to.
That whole day, I was like, I went home and I was talking to my girl. I was like, I cannot believe that man cussed me out. I was like, I didn't do anything. So, one thing that I've noticed too, back on track, one thing that I've noticed with people that can be negative is if they can't pull you down, they start getting into the ears of other people. Because they want to change the narrative on you.
Right, exactly.
And that's when you get the rumor mill. You get some crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily need to know it's true. I had a first sergeant, and he used to always say, perception is 9/10 of the law. So if someone perceives you to be doing something at work, that'll bring you down quicker than you actually doing it.
Of course, because the perception's there.
Because
right?
the perception's there. And then you'll see people who never had an issue with you, or you probably never really interacted with, especially your bigger agencies, and the rumor mill starts firing up, and all of a sudden they're looking at you like, you piece of crap. I knew you weren't any good for this place. Yeah. And it's like, hey, dude, did you even fact check that?
Do you even know me?
Did anybody look into this?
You ever worked with me?
Yeah, that's just the rumor mill.
Yeah.
And that's not a new concept to law enforcement. That's everywhere.
No.
I mean, seriously. In the military, it's always, if you start hanging out with a girl for more than one lunch break, you guys are fucking.
That's it. That's first responders too. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the same everywhere.
And it just sucks. Like, so you don't know either one of these people. No one came up to them and said, "Hey, are you two like an item? Are you two messing around?" Nope. Somebody said, first of all, what are you doing watching somebody that closely that you knew who they were going to lunch with the whole week? And they're just like, "Yep, I knew it. They're getting busy. Hey."
Somehow they went to lunch one time.
Snuffy.
Right?
Did you hear that Big Bo was messing around with that blonde? What blonde? That blonde. Oh, I knew it. I saw them
I could
lunch
see
the
it.
other day.
Yeah, they were talking.
And that person's like, I saw them go to lunch I saw them go to lunch the other day too.
Right.
Did you ever think like,
and before you know
they
it,
have like common interests?
Yeah. But they just worked together, never met, wanted to get to know each other since they're going to be backing each other up on the street.
That's it.
Or just fostering good work relationships.
Yeah, and the rumor mill can kill your career quicker than the truth can.
Well, the rumor becomes the truth.
Yeah. In a lot of cases.
It becomes the truth through perception.
Yep.
Right. The problem with perception is that most people run with it and they don't stop and look at the facts.
And you're looking through it. You're looking through those glasses through a jealous person's mind frame.
Right.
So the person who initially had the problem with me, who couldn't bring me down, because I blew them off, they're still going to figure out a way to get to you. Yeah. And they're going to start telling everybody who will listen anything they can about you, whether it be true or whether it be not. You know, and people are going to be like,
right.
Well, you know, and they probably have a good rapport with that person because they get along. And they're going to be like, well, he wouldn't lie to me.
Right.
Well, why wouldn't he lie to you? Or she lie to you? You know, and it's just, that's where those rumors start getting twisted. And then that's what I think can affect you the most, especially, you know, like we say, you know, you go to lunch with a certain coworker every time because you guys are just really cool. And it could be a female, it could be a male, whatever.
Doesn't matter. And
that rumor starts getting out, and that starts getting to you. And then you go home with it, you know, because you want to get that off your chest. And now your significant other may start thinking something. Well, are you doing something? No. What the?
Yeah.
Heck no, I'm not doing anything.
Right.
But she doesn't know. He or she is not around you for those 12-hour shifts or those 18-hour work days, or when you go to the field in the military, are those deployments. Right. Where I've seen so many rumors just mess people's careers all the way up.
And their lives.
Yeah, and their lives. You know, rumors can really destroy what you have going on, you know, especially if you're brand new in the field. You just started at your place of employment, and those rumors get out, and it's just like, man, you've already got your boss looking at you crazy, and no one, this is what makes me so mad, no one has fact-checked it. No one comes to you and says, is this going on? Because if it is, it needs to stop.
Right.
Or, I heard you were going to some back road where no one can see you and taking a nap.
Right.
People just assume that, and then all of a sudden you're that lazy guy.
Yeah.
You know, or you're hiding out.
Because what else would you be doing back there?
What else would you be doing? Well, maybe I'm...
Not possibly checking on the area, because possibly other people are going down to do those things, and so maybe it's my job is to go down there and look into stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it, I think, comes down to a personality conflict.
Yeah.
And it's a personality conflict. Now, you're not going to get along with everybody. Right? There's going to be people that you're just not going to get along with. They're not going to like you. You're not going to like them. It's just how it is, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you as an individual have to take a step back when you have somebody that's actively trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
Looking at you and going, you know what? I don't like this person for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what the reason is. So I'm going to tear them down.
Yeah.
And again, like a lot of things, it may be conscious, it may be subconscious. Either way, a lot of it stems from personality conflict and going back to some sort of jealousy or insecurity that person has. How you deal with it on the receiving end of that is going back to being positive. And you know what? Trying to build a relationship with that person.
Yep.
And if you can't, you can't. Right?
With kindness.
But you don't do anything to compromise yourself. You maintain your bearings, you stay professional, and you do everything you can and continue to do the right thing and do everything you can to show that you're not the person that is being portrayed.
Yeah.
That this perception that exists because somebody doesn't like you or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And we've all seen it. We've seen people that, you know, they show up to work every day. They say hi to everybody. You know, everybody's good. They think. And then behind the scenes, it's like, oh, you know, he's this or that. And
he hadn't done anything in 3 days.
Right.
Did you think maybe he's sick?
Right.
Did anybody check on him and ask him what happened?
Maybe he's got something going on at home.
Maybe.
That goes back to being a good leader. Okay. That comes back to straight up leadership right there, right? Getting to know your people, understanding your people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're talking about negative individuals in the workplace, they will, if you allow them to, they will bring you down.
Yeah.
They will. And you can get wrapped up in your own rumor.
Yes. Your own rumor can mess up the rumor that you're hearing about you can mess up your whole funk.
Yeah, and your outlook's different, and now you're making missteps.
Yeah, not only that, but you're just like, well, you know what? If everyone thinks I'm a piece of crap, guess what I'm going to be? A piece of crap.
Or you just get tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
And you yourself start to become negative. You yourself start to develop a bad attitude. And then you start lashing out a little bit because...
You've turned to the dark dark side.
You turn to the dark side. Let the hate flow through you.
Flow through your veins.
But you start portraying the person that you're being perceived as.
Yeah, that they made you out to be.
Because you're tired of it. You're like, God, just every day I come to work, I just show up and do my job. I think I get along with everybody.
Yeah.
And yet this perception is still here. These things are still being said. And a lot of the times, the people that are continuing to push that perception to tear you down, they don't even know you.
No.
They know nothing about you. No. They've never taken the time to get to know you.
No.
They just go back to what they see, how they interpret it, or how they choose to interpret it, or whatever filter it is they decide to put over it. And then you're on the receiving end of that. And a lot of times, the damage can be so large that it doesn't matter how much damage control you do.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from that.
It's hard to come back because even some people, when they do hear the truth, they'll sit there and go, okay, all right. But
you know, one way I think to combat those rumors and to keep your mind off of what those rumors are to keep yourself, because you know, the rumors don't even have to be about you. You could be the one that's listening to the rumors.
Right.
And, hey, you know I don't mess with no rumors. You feel me? So you got to try to keep your head above all that and not feed into that, because you never know what someone else could be going through, like we said. But when you sit there and listen to those rumors, you know, you should try to nip that in the bud. If someone comes to me at work, I know you, of course. Mm-hmm. But let's say, you know, they come to me about another officer. You shouldn't even entertain that rumor, because you don't know that person. And you're sitting here and you're listening to another person badmouth that person or just tell you something that's going on in their life, and you're just like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to add on to it, because then you start looking for those things in that person. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they are like that.
Yeah.
And then you go back to that person who told you the first rumor, like, you know what I saw? Mm-hmm. And now you guys are both feeding into it. Unintentionally, you're feeding into that first initial rumor.
Right.
And you can't do that.
And then that original person's getting validation
yeah.
for the things that they're spreading, and so it continues to grow.
And they're going to use you. Mm-hmm. They're going to use you when they go to tell somebody else. Well, you know what Big Bo heard?
Yeah.
He heard JC's going to taking naps.
Right.
Did he see it? No, he saw him go down that dark street too.
Yeah.
He was there for like 30 minutes.
And of course, there's no other reason why somebody would be down there. There's no other
reason.
Yeah.
He was blacked out.
Yeah.
He was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Computer shut down. Craziness.
Funny how his GPS that can't even control, but that was suddenly that was not working. Yeah. So, you know, it's a hard situation to be in. It's a real hard situation to be in, especially on your. And you're right. If somebody comes to you trying to spread a rumor about somebody else, you don't have to shut it down. You can shut it down in other ways other than going in that conversation, right? Let's say you're not comfortable doing that, because a lot of people aren't comfortable with that sort of confrontation. No. It's understandable. But you can go to the person that the rumor is about and say, hey, I heard this, just letting you know.
If you're doing that, you probably want to knock it off because somebody saw it.
Not even that. Just, hey, listen. I mean, sometimes it's just the inference right there. It's just, hey.
Hey, heads up.
Hey, heads up. I heard this. You know, if I've heard it, that, people in charge have heard it.
Yep.
I don't know if it's true or not. I would like to think
I don't even care if it is. I'm just letting you know what I heard.
Yeah, just letting you know what I heard. But at least at that point, you're giving that person the opportunity to address it. And if you're that person that's receiving that information, you have one of two choices. You can ignore it and move on with your life and continue to do what you do.
Yeah.
Because you're doing the right thing. Or you can confront it head on. There's a problem with confronting it head on.
That person's who's already lying about you is gonna lie again, because they don't want to be caught up in that.
Well, a lot of times, I'm sure you've seen it too, but a lot of times, that person will then immediately turn around once they've been confronted, and they start walking to the supervisor's door. Hey, you're not gonna believe what happened. JC just gave me the business.
I didn't even say nothing to him.
Yeah.
I was having a private conversation with
I heard he was doing this, and then all of a sudden
I didn't say anything to anybody.
Yeah, but it
was true.
Right, exactly. But all of a sudden here he is just getting on to me, and it's like, I mean, it's got such a rabbit hole. It really is.
And one way I think to
not get caught up in any of that, even if the rumor's about you, not about you. You got to grind, man.
That's
you
it.
You got to stay on that grind.
You have to put your head down and you have to work.
That's it, man.
That's it.
That's it. My grandmother worked for a hospital in Arizona for 20 plus years, and that was like always her biggest advice to me was like, don't get caught up with, people are always going to come up to you at work and tell you so-and-so said this about you. And she'd be like, that's good. And she would continue to do her job. And she got numerous Employee of the Year awards because your grind has to be on point, man.
Right.
Like, we were talking about with our followers, like, yo, like, at first we were like, man, how we only got this many followers? We got this many listens. We know we're putting out quality.
It's ridiculous.
Just ridiculous. And then we both sat here and was like, the grind's not hard enough. We're not grinding hard enough.
We haven't been in the grind long enough.
No, but you got to push yourself. Like, you have to push past all that negativeness.
Right.
You have to push past that initial fear of failure, that initial... people aren't going to like me. They're not going to like what I say. They're not going to like what I do. You've got to push past that because once your grind matches what you think about yourself and what you know you're capable of, even that person who's hating is going to become a cricket.
Yeah.
They're not going to say nothing because nobody's going to believe them.
Right.
And, you know, because when they come and say, I think he's been taking a nap. Did you know he found 3 drunks over there the other day? He's out there grinding, man. He's out there working.
Yep.
So what you're saying is hogwash. I'm not going to listen to that crap.
Yep.
And you know, no matter what you're doing in life, like there's probably somebody out there listening to this podcast who is either trying to get in this field, trying to get into some other field, and they don't know how they're going to do it, man. You just got to start. You got to start grinding. You got to work your way to wherever you want to be. If you want to be the supervisor of your power plant, if you want to be the supervisor at your job, if you want to be the next lieutenant, the next sergeant, whatever you want to do, you have to get there and you have to grind, man. Like, you have to set goals.
Well,
like,
and ultimately, the answer, you know, everything we've said comes down to that. It comes down to, how do you defeat it? You defeat it by working hard.
Yeah.
By continuing to live within your principles, to continue to work through your work ethic and doing the right thing every day and getting out there and grinding. That's it. That's how you fix it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, you may not fix it. Fix it's the wrong word.
Yeah.
But that's how you beat it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because eventually people are going to go, well, except for the other negative people.
Yeah.
But the people that count.
Them crabs in a bucket.
Right. The people that count, though, are going to go, yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, because he's always out there doing this. He's always out doing the right thing. He's always out doing his job. He's always taking on this project, or he's always, you know, offering these suggestions, or he's always trying to be a leader, or he's always, you know, doing this and that. And that's how you beat it. That's how you beat it. But on the flip side of that, well, but that being said, on the flip side of that, all these rumors, right? This little rumor mill, what does it do? What does it do for everyone? Not just you as the victim of the rumor, right? But what does it do? It creates a toxic work environment.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And how quickly do toxic work environments just absolutely ruin a job for somebody?
Not just for somebody. Like, you know, I've heard of places where people have gone and applied at, you know, jobs anywhere, and they see, you know, an employee and they're like, hey, how does it work? Don't apply here.
Mm-hmm.
This place is crap.
This place
and you're
is,
just like, why don't you go anywhere? I can't. They can't go anywhere.
Fucked me straight over. I can't do it.
I can't go nowhere. I'm stuck here. And, you know, that's, you know, in any industry you have, man, people get stuck in where they're at. Either they're comfortable, they're complacent, or they're just too afraid to leave.
Right.
You know, but they don't want to see you there, you know, and, you know, people will be like, well, man, I thought you were applying over there. No, heck no, man.
I talked to this one dude.
I talked to this dude. He told me it was crazy over there.
Yeah.
You know, it affects everything. And then that affects the good people that work there because now they're still working like crazy. They're still bombarded by all this work and they can't get any help there because they're working in a toxic environment.
Right.
And that's just...
So how do you... I mean, if you're dealing with a toxic work environment, right? So... You've got just this, let's not even toxic work environment, toxic culture, right? Let's say the culture of your workplace is toxic.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's dog eat dog, it's internal cannibalizing all the time, people, lies, rumors, whatever, right? So how do you, as the individual that's being affected by that, and obviously everyone's being affected by it, but you taking personal responsibility, right? How do you overcome that?
I think, man,
or how do you fight through it?
I think there's a couple ways, and I'm going to be honest with you. And I've told people this before. I've had friends call me and ask me about certain life situations that they may have that they're not comfortable with. And, I finally, after going through my divorce, I'll use my divorce as an example. I thought I was really happy being married to the person I was married to. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize how unhappy I was until I got out of that situation.
Right.
And sometimes I think that's like the best way to get rid of a toxic situation is to actually just leave it. It's that way with relationships, and ultimately your job is a relationship. Mm-hmm. Because you get gratification out of it or you get misery out of it.
Well, for most people, their job, their career is one half of their life.
Yeah.
Home and family is one half.
Yeah.
Their job and career. People identify with their job.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not, hey, there's Johnny Joe over there. He's a plumber.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not. That's what he does for a living, right? Yeah, that's not who he is.
That's not who he is.
But it becomes such a part of your identity.
Yep.
Yeah,
everybody everybody has that guy in their neighborhood, and it's just like, oh, that's John. He fixes on cars. He's a mechanic.
Yeah.
Well, he's a human, but
right.
He fixes cars.
Yeah, that's what he does for a living.
That's what he does for a living, and that's who they become. And it's the same way with us,
oh yeah.
And I think this field, you get. I'm trying to look for the right words. You get a little bit. This is all I know. This is all I can do. Mm-hmm. And I showed you this video. It was of boxer Miguel Cotto, huge boxing fan, and he had just lost a fight. I believe it was to Floyd Mayweather, and his face looked bad. And his wife was crying. She was like, "You need to stop." And he was like,
"Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that's
okay,
all I know.
Yep.
That's all I know. That's all I know how to do." And that's how I feel sometimes. I think with law enforcement, military, first responders, it could be this way for everybody else, but I'm just speaking from my experience. It's all you know. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to say leave, but when you're in that toxic environment, well, that's what you came in on.
Right.
Some people, that's their first duty station. That's their first police department. That's their first fire station. Mm-hmm. That's their first executive job. And when they came in, they learned a toxic environment, and that's all they know. That's all they know what to do.
Well, so on top of that, if you've invested any time at this place, and you're talking.
It's like an abused girlfriend, because when you go talk to the girl who's been with her boyfriend or husband who's hit her or done something to her, and you're like, why don't you leave? Well, it's gonna change. He's gonna change, and that's how you feel when you invest time into something.
Right.
I've seen it be good here. I know it can be good here. It's gonna change. It's gonna get better.
Or I can't leave. He's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And though that's an extreme comparison, but in certain ways, at the core of it, it's the same.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I could leave, but if I try,
what's going to happen? And that's the thing, is you have those places in law enforcement, mm-hmm. That when you try to leave, it's straight up Beastie Boys. It's sabotage.
Oh, you get blackballed real quick.
And I remember going through the police academy, and I had a instructor, and he was like, if you're working at a place and you tell them you're thinking about leaving, and they don't do everything they can to either help you or try to see if they can retain you, mm-hmm. you probably shouldn't have been working there in the first place.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. That's true with any job.
But of course, by then it's too late.
You're in too deep.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what you deal with working in certain toxic environments, because it goes back to the crab in a bucket. No one wants to see you do better than them. They don't want to see you shine. Right. And they know what they have in you. They know that they have a really good person, mm-hmm. and so they don't want to see you leave, but they don't want to see you succeed either.
Right.
In their environment.
Yeah.
And it's just, sometimes you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna go apply anywhere. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm going to give them everything I can. And then when I get my discharge papers or I get my DD-214, I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to show them.
Yeah.
When I was getting out of the military because I wanted to come be a cop, I had a platoon sergeant straight up tell me, he was like, what are you going to do? You going to go work at Walmart? I was like, no, I'm actually going to the police academy a month after I get my DD-214. He was like, you think you're going to be able to be a cop? Think you can do that? And I'm just like, dang. I thought we were family. Like, you're already just hating on me, and I ain't even made it. I haven't even stepped foot in the police academy, and you're already telling me I couldn't do it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny the contradiction there, because it's, you have this, basically this shit show you show up for every day to play a part in, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I don't want to. One of your options of dealing with it, of course, is leaving, right? As we're talking about. And you start making those steps. And then they find out about it. And all of a sudden they're hurt.
Yeah.
They get mad at you. They start treating you differently. They're treating you like you're already gone, like you betrayed them.
Yeah.
Like you've committed, like you cheated on them.
Yeah.
And it's hard to understand. It really is hard to understand, especially if you're a good person, you're trying to do the right thing for yourself and for your family. And,
people still kill LeBron over the South Beach thing.
Yeah. He saw an opportunity. He took it. It paid off for him.
And, his biggest thing was, I'm doing what's right for me and my family.
Right. Because the environment he was in was toxic, and he didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And you have that option. You do have that option to leave. And if you feel that is the best thing for you to do, then do it.
Yes. And
there's nothing wrong with that. You're not quitting. You're not tucking tail and leaving.
And people will make you feel like that at your job.
But people, yeah, exactly. Yep. People will make you feel like that.
And what it is they play off of you being a good human being, and you being a good person.
Well, because they're gonna make you feel bad.
Yeah, and then you're just like, you know what, man, I feel real bad. They gave me a shot, and I remember when I was working for the college I was working for, it was part time, and I remember being there a month, and I got offered to go test somewhere, and I felt bad, man. I felt bad, and that was a full-time spot.
Right.
Benefits for my family.
Right. Yeah.
Double my pay.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I felt bad. And I remember going to my lieutenant because I needed the day off to go to the test. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to do it. And I was like, hey, LT, I've got a test with another agency. She was like, what day do you need off? And I was like, Monday? All right. What will you be able to come to work at all or no? And I was like, probably not. I don't know. I've never tested or anything. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you on Tuesday then. Good luck. Right. And I was like, well, I feel kind of bad. Don't feel bad. You're trying to provide for your family. I totally get it. This isn't a full-time spot.
Yeah.
You got your foot in the door. We're hoping to train you, and I understand why you feel bad.
And that's good leadership.
Yeah.
Because that's what you should be doing.
Yeah. If she had her hang-ups. I'm not going to say she's a perfect person, but in that moment, that was everything I needed.
You got to do what you need. Exactly.
Everything I needed. I was so scared. Like, I was like, they're going to hate me. They're going to fire me right after this. And she was like, all right, see you Tuesday. And I was like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
And I and I was grateful for that. I'm grateful that I had that experience in my life.
And in our line of work, you don't see that too often.
No, you don't.
You don't see that too often. It's like, oh, okay. You want to leave.
You need your personnel file. Why?
Why?
I just want to look at it.
Yeah. No, you don't. No, you don't. Where are you going? Where'd you apply to?
Where are you applying to?
And I tell you what, the most dreaded thing in the world is when you've been able to skirt anyone knowing, right, that you're trying to leave.
Yeah.
And at some point that background investigator is going to show up.
Yeah,
and then everyone's going to know.
Not only that, but like you have, your civilian jobs when you're trying to leave and they say, "Can we contact your current employer?" I mean, I guess.
I mean, if you have to.
You really have to. And it's the same, working for, an architect firm, and that other firm calls and you don't know what those people are going to say about you. At all.
No, and you could have thought everything was awesome all the way. And then all of a sudden, I'm sorry, we're going to pass on you at this time. Well, why? Well, we spoke to your employer and there were some things that came up that we just don't feel like we're going to take the risk at this time.
And you know what's funny?
And you're
you never hear from your current employer that someone even calls.
Right. And you're like, what the what?
What they say? We're not at liberty to talk about that. No, it's me.
Yeah.
No, I'm the person.
Yeah. No, why can't you tell me? That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
You know, and we're saying all this, right? And listening to it, as we're talking about this, kind of taking a step back and like listening to it can kind of sound like, holy shit, right? I'm just going to show up, be miserable in my job every day. I'm not doing this. Listen, these are things that happen. They're things that happen.
It's not just your job. It happens in your life.
Absolutely.
100%.
And, you know, it's just some of the things that you might go through.
Yeah.
When you're leaving. Not everybody's going to have that situation.
No, not
There's
at
some
all.
places that work at stand-up places, and hey, it's just not working out. And you know why it's not working out? Because I need more money for my family. I need better benefits for my family. And that place, if it's a good place with good leadership, is going to go, hey, we understand. We get it. How can we help you?
Well, it's the same thing with a relationship. I mean, you've dated other people besides your wife. I've dated other people besides my girlfriend, been married. And, you know, let's just say you're dating a girl and you both agree that it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't working for either one of us.
Right.
Okay, cool. Let's go our separate ways. Okay, cool. And then you see her with someone else and you're like, look at her. That dude's a loser.
Whore.
Look at that. No one can be that happy. She wasn't that happy with me. Well, duh. That's why you guys broke up.
Right. Y'all agreed.
Y'all agreed that no one happy.
Yeah,
This is life. It's not just this. You know, if something's not making you happy. I remember I was on a plane one time, and this lady was talking about reevaluating where you're at every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that, and I still use it.
That's interesting. Every 3 months.
Every 3 months. And I still use that today sometimes. Like, you know, it's probably not 3 months, but I do definitely evaluate my situation. And it was one of the things that was primarily played a factor in, you know, my marriage. And I was just like, I'm not happy here. I'm probably going to drive myself insane. I remember having these conversations with you, and I was like, I need to get out of this.
Right.
It's toxic. I'm not happy. She's not happy. We're not happy. Everyone is suffering around us.
It's not fixable.
It's not fixable.
And I think that, you know, that being said, you know, it's not fixable. I am a believer that most, not all, but most marriages are fixable.
Oh, yeah. You've got to give it a shot. I mean, if you
have to try. Yeah, you have to try.
You married them for a reason. You started dating them for a reason. Now, 6, 7, 8, even a year into a relationship, you know, you're not married, whatever. I think it's less prone to kind of fix it if you guys are just kind of dating. But man, once you get past that 1 year mark, where you're married, you found something in that person you really liked.
That you committed.
That
you took a vow.
Yeah.
Like the oath we take at work. You took a vow.
You're religious or not, you still promised to another person that you were going to honor, cherish, love them through sickness and in health, and take care of them and vice versa.
Right.
Till death do you apart.
Right.
You know, you promised that to a person.
Of course. Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like our oath we take for this and other people do for office or, you know, at your job. You know, you promise to do something, you should do it. I think that's one of the biggest things in our society. People just throw it in the garbage can way too quick. Yeah,
and you know, there's actually I don't even think I've talked to you about this. No, I have. We've talked about this. There's going to be a podcast coming up that deals with relationships and deals with first responder marriages and all this. We talked to Cindy Doyle.
Yep.
So
shout out to Cindy.
So
she reached out to us on Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah.
Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, she listens to the podcast.
She's actually been like a pretty good supporter so far.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to do some stuff with her, listen for us in the future on her podcast and vice versa. She talks about Leo marriages. Yeah,
that's her. That's what she does. She's a therapist.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but yeah, you're right. That bond, that promise, that word, it's not taken seriously anymore.
No.
It used to be, marriage used to be an institution.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's not so much anymore.
Well, I had
it's like, hey, let's get married.
I had a philosophy class, and the teacher believed there's no such thing as love, that marriage is a business contract.
I don't know about that. I'm not.
A lot of good points.
I'm sure there's some valid.
Ultimately, you're doing what's best for you in a relationship. And when you're, you know, happy life, happy wife.
Well, you're not married. You're not saying, hey, let's get married so that you can have so I'm marrying you so that you're going to be better.
There's tax benefits.
Right.
Totally.
Which if we end up single tomorrow after this podcast and our significant other's going, oh, it's a contract?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there are domestic partnership benefits that
I'm not gonna. What is that movie? Will and Chuck?
Chuck and Larry.
Not Chuck and Larry and you. There's no way.
It'd be worth it.
No, it would not be worth it.
I don't know. I've been accused of it before. Anyway, so yeah, exactly. You're in a married situation, and yeah, but that doesn't mean that necessarily that everything is fixable, right? That's why I said most.
No,
that's why I said most, because there are some things that are not fixable.
Yeah, but
right?
most things can be. I think most things can be fixed.
Right. So that being said, right, option number 2 of leaving your job, you don't leave.
And you stay.
You decide, you know what? I see so much potential in this place. I see what this place can be. I'm looking at it from the outside. These people are a cesspool of toxicity that are destroying this place. But I see the silver lining. I see what this could be. If I work hard enough and I'm patient and I wait, eventually, some of those people are going to be gone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And eventually,
I'm going to be put in those positions.
I'm going to be in those positions. I'm going to have more influence, and then I can affect that change. And you know what? For the people that do that, God bless you. Seriously. Because you're talking about possibly, potentially, most likely, years of having to...
That's a long game.
Of having to endure...
That's like Shawshank long game.
Right. Of having to endure the same negativity, the same rumor mills, the same toxicity over and over and over again, just for that shot, just for that chance of I can make a positive influence. And you start doing it every day, just in your personal interactions. First of all, check yourself. Make sure you're in order, that you're not behaving like one of these people.
Yeah.
Secondly, influence your team at a peer level. This talks about peer leadership. We're talking about, being a leader among your peers.
So talking about that. So real quick, let's segue. How do you feel about politicking?
About politicking in the workplace? So I have made it a personal policy, right, to never be a kiss ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. No, I'm not talking. I'm not.
No.
I'm not
well,
talking
but
being
they're
a mouse and taking the cheese is totally different things.
Well, I don't think necessarily they are. I don't think necessarily they are. It just depends on your motivations, right? In my opinion. But politicking in the workplace, as much as I loathe it, hate it.
We've had these conversations. I know how much you hate it.
I hate it. All right. About as much as I hate it. If you could name a subject that I absolutely hate, it's up there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a necessity.
And that's in any job. And see, I'm of the total opposite. I got schooled at, like I said, I went to the military when I was 19, so I'm still young, and listening to a lot of these guys that have been in the military 17, 18 years, and they break it down. It's a game.
And that's it.
Learn how to play the game, man.
And that's exactly the next thing I was going to say. It's playing the game.
Yep.
And that's playing the game is part of the grind.
Part of the grind, man. You got to make, I'm not saying you got to go out of your way to, like you said, kissing ass or sucking up. I'm not saying go out of your way and be like, hey, you look really nice in that suit today, Jim. Is that a new tie? You look great, man. All right, see you later. To me, that's totally different. But politicking is when you go to Jim because he's your supervisor and you listen to him and you may not like his idea, but he's your supervisor.
You may not totally agree with him.
Yeah, and you're just like, yeah, man, sure, I can see us doing that. Heck yeah. And
how can I help?
How can I help? You may not agree with it. You may think it's totally stupid, but you're willing to try it so that he knows that you're on his side, which in turn helps turn around some of those toxic vibes.
It can, if nothing else. So let's say you're, Jim, right? Jim is part of this culture.
Yep.
Jim plays the politics, plays them well.
Oh, yeah.
He's connected up the chain because He plays the game well. He may be an insane micromanager. He may be, a horribly toxic person or whatever. It doesn't matter. Obviously, Jim, in this context, is not somebody that we would be.
Yeah. No.
Right? So, yeah, you go to Jim. And yes, or no, rather, you don't do the compliment and all that crap. You know why? Because at the end of the day, even those people recognize a kiss ass.
Oh, yeah, and they hate it.
And that's your only value at the end of the day. It's like, oh, well, yeah, he's a yes man, so, I can get him to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But in playing the politics, it comes with building relationships with people that you may hate, right? And you and we talked about this a little bit. We talked about it quite a bit on the last episode, so I won't go too far into it. But you're approaching that person, and you're being part of the team. You're rising above, again, your ego, and you're getting into that political role that you have to do.
You have
to keep yourself from getting embroiled in the toxic environment. Because believe it or not, once you make it a game, right?
Yeah.
Once you jump into the politics, you're doing it for the right reasons, right?
Yes. And that's
so
that's where I was getting at.
So your motivations.
Your motives are well. And to me, that helps change some of that toxic. And if you're going to be that person who's in it for the Shawshank long game,
right?
You're putting rocks out into the yard.
Yep.
That's something that you want to do. Mm-hmm. You want to start changing that culture little by little.
Yep.
So you politicking is putting you in those roles, because that person who maybe is toxic or maybe
he's going to go back to he's going to go back to his leadership, the overall leadership, and go.
He's going to say, "This guy's turned a page.
This dude's solid.
He's turned a page, man.
He does a good job. Board. Yep."
And you've changed the narrative, and your peers are going to see that, and your peers are going to be like, you know what? If he can get on board, I can get on board.
Not all of them.
That's changing.
Right.
And so that way, when it's time for you to move up, your peers are like, he's right for it.
Right. And once you get into those positions, depending on the parameters of that position, then you can kind of go, okay, now it's time to change the game.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's time to change the game. In that, dealing with negativity, is that once you take on that role, once you go, yeah, all right, I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, right? I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
I'm all in.
I'm not. I don't subscribe to this, but I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid because I know that in order to meet my objectives, it's what I got to do.
For sure.
You're gonna meet some people within your peer circle that are gonna go, I knew it. I can't trust him anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen, if we're talking about, it's been a long time since I've been in the private industry, right?
Yeah.
So I really don't remember how strong those bonds are, but I know from our industry, brothers and sisters, a brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
If they're truly your friends, if they're truly your quote unquote brothers,
yeah,
they're gonna know what you're doing, right? They're not gonna betray you at the end of the day, because they know, like, yeah, you know what. He's got to do it. He's got to do it because
he's taking one for the team.
Because he's probably going to be the next supervisor.
Yep.
And then stuff's going to be better for us.
Yep. And then when that
they'll
happens,
support you.
Yeah. And then when that happens, the grind paid off.
Yeah, exactly.
The grind all paid off.
Yep. And that comes down to being a leader among your peers.
Yeah.
And you want them to follow suit because you don't want anything bad to happen to them. And they don't want anything bad to happen.
No.
They don't want to be in a nobody wants to be in a toxic work environment. Nobody wants to be miserable when they go to work. Nobody wants to, on the drive in, start getting diarrhea on the way in because you're so stressed out with that, knot in your stomach. You're just like, God, I don't want to be there. Oh, I just hate it.
Yep.
Instead, on your way to work, instead of worrying about, God, what am I possibly going to get in trouble with today?
Yeah.
But you know what? Whatever they throw at me, I'll do what they need me to do.
I'm going to rise above.
And I'm going to move on.
I'm going to keep that positive energy up.
But it takes a lot of dedication.
It does.
It takes a lot of personal dedication. And it takes a lot of ego swallowing. It just really does. You got to swallow that pride. You're going to have to.
Yeah, all day.
You won't have a choice.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how it is. But, it's unfortunate that places are like that.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want to change it,
you got to be Michael Jackson. You got to be the man in the mirror.
That's right. You got to play the game.
Yeah, you do.
And you got to become the best at it.
Yeah.
You got to work hard. You got to keep grinding. You got to become the best at playing the game.
Yep. You've got to be the best at what you do.
Because you'll get what you want, and you get what you need for your team.
And then at the end of the day, everyone's happy.
Mostly everybody, but.
Yeah. So let's move into segment 2. I think that's the best we can do with that segment.
Think so?
I think so. Let's move into war stories.
Ooh, war stories.
A little bit to know you. I went first last time.
War stories.
So war stories.
Okay, so
what is the craziest arrest you've ever had?
Craziest. Golly. There's been a few. Craziest. I should have put more thought into this, but okay. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
This one's a doozy.
Let's go.
Okay. So, while working for a large metropolitan agency, right? There was this one area in a very not good part of town, south of the downtown area.
Is this the ice story?
No, we went over the ice story.
All right.
We did that one. So, so there was a problem with bus stops and homeless people hanging around, soliciting, and prostitution.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right, I like where we're going.
You won't hear in a minute. So, so we're hitting the area pretty hard, getting some.
He's hitting the prostitution area hard.
Yeah, hitting it hard.
Hitting it hard.
Discounts were great. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
So there was this couple, male and female, husband and wife. They claimed to be.
Allegedly.
The female's nickname on the street was the Golden Lady.
Oh, okay.
So she was, as in my last story, a rather large woman.
Oh, not with a name like the Golden Lady.
Oh, well. So she used to work this one particular bus stop that was over behind a chicken processing plant, which the smell was amazing, right? It just filled the area, right?
Yeah.
Real industrial side of town. Filled, I mean, it's like a lot of industry, a lot of homeless people, very dirty, lots of drugs,
okay,
lots of theft,
all right,
prostitution, etc. So this couple made their money off prostitution, both of them. All right,
the Golden Lady
and her husband. Her husband had some nickname, but I don't remember what it was. All right, it's not important. But so the Golden Lady was nasty. I mean, you're talking about like you stood within feet of her and you were smelling Lord knows what.
Pure greatness.
Pure something. I don't know if it's greatness. If that's greatness, I need to reevaluate some things. But so the Golden Lady got her name because when she would have sex with her Johns, right? For those who don't know, Johns are people that pay prostitutes for sex. When she would have sex with her Johns, she would pee on them.
This is going nowhere fast. Go ahead, though.
So.
Oh God.
So she had been criminally trespassed from these bus stops, right? So we see her hanging around, and her and her husband had been trespassed, right? So we see him, and my partner and I go make contact, and we go to place her under arrest, right?
Right.
So she's just going all out. Just, I mean, you can't handcuff her in the front. I mean, in the back. You had to handcuff her in the front. She was nasty. She smelled like urine. I mean, it was like, yeah. She earned it. She earned it, right?
She'd been working that day. So,
and mind you, this is not, I don't know that I have a craziest, but this is up there. So, so we get her in handcuffs, put her in the back of the car.
What's funny is my story I'm going to tell also involves urine. Go ahead, though.
Excellent. All right. We're on the same theme here. And we've just lost all of our followers. So we get her under arrest. She's like talking all sorts of noise or whatever. And so we put her in the back of the car, which was a task. And now it's time for her husband. Well, her husband looks at us and he's like, I got a bag. And we're like, a bag? He's like, yeah, I got a bag. Be careful. So.
Bag of what?
Colostomy bag. So he lifts his shirt up to show us.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the area in which the bag affixes was a nice purple color. Right? So I was like, hey, man, do you need medical attention? Because, like, that looks bad. That looks real bad.
It's pussing.
He was, there was things happening in there. There was a science experiment in there. Husband, right, then goes on to tell a story. So husband's like, yeah, we just, it's just going on about drug habit and blah, blah, blah. We get to why now the colostomy bag is a problem. So what he does is he proceeds to tell us he takes the bag out. Well, there's a hole there.
Oh, this is gross.
Because he's not gay.
No.
But.
He lets people hump the hole?
Yep. So it was
the hole in his, like, side?
Yep.
Yep. That's not healthy. That's... First of all,
first
of all, who wants to hump a hole in a human besides that's in the side of their body?
Who are you as a person that you go, yeah, I'll pay $20 for that?
How far have you fallen from God's graces when you're like, I'll pay $20, but only if you let me stick it in your colostomy hole.
And then you go, all right.
All right.
Sounds like a deal.
Give me 30 and we'll talk about it. Deal.
And that's what he used to do. So we get him under arrest, right?
He needs medical attention, sir. And
then he starts leaking. And there's no telling what was coming out of that. So.
That is so disgusting.
Yeah. The best part was, getting down to jail and taking his socks off. Literally took the bottom pads off his feet because they'd been fused. That's how long he'd been wearing them.
Jesus.
Fused to the bottom of his feet.
First of all, I'm still trying to get over. People, still grown men.
Grown men.
Would hump the hole.
Yes.
In his body.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure every disease known to man.
We're about to get canceled. This is it. We're getting canceled. It was nice. Thanks for listening, guys.
I'm going to get an email from iTunes.
Yep. You guys are disgusting.
Yeah, that was up there. That was up there. I've got a good one about an active shooter too, but that was probably one of the wackiest ones. And it wasn't even anything really happened. It was just the conversation and the fact that this is what he did.
Okay, so mine is
moving on to more.
I don't think I top that. Mine is just funny to me. It's not going to be good to anybody else.
I wish I could remember what he called himself.
I don't even care anymore. The Whole Man.
The Whole Man?
The Golden Lady and the Whole Man. We got a band. You want to hear it? Wrote a song. Want to hear it? Here you go. So I'm working.
He wasn't even using the other one anymore. I don't know why he just didn't. He wasn't gay, so that's what he said.
I mean, but a man. I'm not getting into that. I'm not gonna touch this one. So I'm working, and I'm by myself. That happens from time to time where we work at. I'm working by myself. And I get a call. There's a possible suicidal subject laying on the train tracks. So I get there.
Those are always good.
I get there, and the lady proceeds to get up, and she has a bottle in her hand, and she's like, I'm not suicidal. I'm drunk. And I'm like, oh, you're drunk? Too easy. Public intox.
Yeah.
Which public intox is you're publicly intoxicated. You can arrest somebody for that. In the state of Texas, if they are a danger to themselves and or others. Her laying in the train track, she was definitely a danger to herself.
Do you know what other offense you could have had?
No.
Interference with railroad property.
Could have had interference. But public intox is a Class C ticket.
It's easy.
Easy peasy. She had already admitted to being drunk. Easy to go. So she's upset she's going to jail because she doesn't understand why she just can't be drunk in the middle of the railroad tracks. She's intoxicated. It's hard.
Right. It makes sense to her.
And she's drinking tequila, not out of a tequila bottle, out of a water bottle.
Well, that's where you put tequila.
That's where you put it. It's the only place to put tequila.
You've mastered your craft as an alcoholic.
When you can put it in a water. I'm not going to put this in a water bottle.
Clear.
It's clear. Who knows?
Who knows?
Nobody will know. Not me, not the train driver. So I hook her up. I get her in the car after she's, arguing. Me and her are kind of bickering at one another because I'm trying to explain to a drunk person. Anybody that's been around a drunk person, try being a police officer and explaining to them why they're going to jail. And that it's just a ticket and she'll be out in the morning.
It's like trying to have anyway.
It's like trying to explain math to a 2-year-old. That it's just not going to happen. So
it's like painting a picture.
Yeah.
And then trying to describe it to Helen Keller.
Oh, come on. Come on, JC.
What? She's blind and deaf.
Jeez. You're too far. First you're telling me about the man with the hole in his body. Now you're popping Helen Keller jokes. So
hey, no discredit to her. She accomplished a lot.
She did accomplish a lot more than we have.
No
she has
shit.
Way more followers.
No shit.
So I get her to the jail.
She wrote a book.
I put her in there, and I put her in the booking area, and I handcuff her to a bench. And so she's like, I have to pee. And I'm like, okay, well, just wait, because I'm the only person here. I need to go to my car and get the rest of the stuff I need to book you in and your property. And when I get back, I'll take you to your cell. You can use the restroom. Everybody have a good time. She's like, nope, I need to go now. I said, well, you're going to wait. It's 5 seconds. Anybody can hold it 5 seconds. So I go out. I get all this stuff. I'm coming back in. As I'm walking in, she is handcuffed to a bench. Mm-hmm. And she has a trash can that she has pulled over to that area, mind you. And she's intoxicated. And she's trying to stand on this bench with her hand handcuffed and squat over this trash can, and I lose it. And I'm like, no, ma'am, you will not piss in my trash can. And she's like, but I gotta pee. I'm like, you're going to be a human being with decency, and you will wait till you get to a toilet. And then she goes, I want to kill myself. And I was like, you're going to the hospital.
I'm done with this. Fire department's problem now.
So I call the fire department, and they show up, and they're like, what's wrong with her? I'm like, she's drunk, and she says she wants to commit suicide, and she was laying on the train tracks. She was like, yep, and I gotta pee, and I'm gonna kill myself. And they're like, well, let's go to the hospital. I need to pee first. Like, well, you can pee at the hospital. And she proceeds to piss on herself. So she got what she wanted, and I didn't have to book her in the fire department to clean up their bed.
Well, that works out.
So that's one of my favorites. It's
I'm sure they were
not
happy.
The craziest, but it's one of my favorites because I literally lost. Like, I try not to lose. We try not to lose it with people.
Sure.
But we're human beings. And all I saw at that moment was I'm going to have to clean up this woman's urine from this whole area. And she's intoxicated. Mm-hmm. And she's probably been holding it a long time. So there's going to be a lot. And I was just like, you will not pee in my trash can. She was like when you walk in on your kids doing something, she was like, oh. She's trying to move the trash can away from herself. And she's trying to pull her pants back up. It's horrible.
It sounds amazing.
Yes.
Interesting. So we filled ourselves with that. All right. So moving on quickly from that. So okay. All right. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
All right. Moving on. Unrelated, I guess, kind of to everything that we've talked about so far. But what is one thing that you, Big Bo, regret not having done in life?
Not having done in life.
Maybe that you had an opportunity to do, or that you just didn't do because it just wasn't the right time or whatever, and you've just never done it.
I will say it'll be a military thing, and it's probably going air assault. It's one of the things I always wanted to do in my military career because just so many people that I had that were mentors to me had their air assault badge, and I just was like, that's how you get completed. That you got to go air assault. That's it. It's the only way to do it. And I thought it would be really cool to hang from helicopters and stuff like that. So I think that's one thing in my life that I regret.
What about personal, like non-career related?
Non-career related. Ugh.
Getting deep.
There was this one time. These two girls. No, I'm just joking. We're gonna air that out.
We're not.
Okay, so personal life. Ooh, I don't know, man. Probably. I don't know. I did everything I wanted to do personally.
Everything?
It's going to sound sad. I think one thing, okay, this is going to be real sad, and so I don't want everybody to get all teary-eyed.
Oh,
one thing that I will regret.
Mine's sad. Don't worry.
I will say not talking to my mom as much as I should have before she passed.
Good one.
So, for people that don't know me, I'll just share something with you. My mom was a drug addict for a good part of her life and a good part of my life. And my mom used to call me, and she used to be under the influence of her narcotics. And I would be like, I don't want to hear this. I'm hanging up. And so, like, I think probably a few days before she passed, she called, and I was just like, I don't feel like dealing with this today. I was doing something. I had my kid with me. And I was like, I'm driving home. I got to cook dinner. I had so much stuff on my plate. And I was like, I don't feel like talking to her. Because when, people are intoxicated on drugs, they talk in circles. And you just have to deal with that. And I was like, I don't feel like dealing with that today. And so I just didn't answer that phone call. And today, that still is probably one of my biggest regrets. And I was a jerk to her. Probably her last year of life.
When you're on
the best son in the world.
When you're on the other side, looking into that situation, it's hard not to develop some sort of anger and, resentment, probably.
Yeah, it wasn't even so much resentment. It was just like I said with my drunk uncle, every time he calls me, he's crying. It was almost the same thing with her.
Oh, you were serious about that?
I was dead serious about that.
Oh, I thought you were just making a joke the last.
No, I was dead serious.
I laughed. I was laughing.
The last 3 times I spoke to my drunk uncle, he cried. He always cries when he calls me.
Oh, I hope he doesn't listen to the podcast.
Nah, he's not. He doesn't
call you cry about that.
He probably, you tell everybody I'm crying. You jacked up, you're messed up, man. And I gotta listen to that and try to calm him down, talk him off a ledge. But no, that's probably my biggest regret in life, man. This is so horrible. People are gonna be like, he didn't care about his mother.
God.
No, but so yeah, I mean, my mom, who she was, she wasn't perfect, but she was mine. And so that's probably one of the biggest things I regret is not treating her, like the best son in the world and just ignoring her phone calls when she called me 4 days before she passed.
Sure.
Your turn.
My turn. I do like, though, that you can... I do like your outlook on all that, though, because it's a hard, it's a hard situation.
Yeah, it was 7 years ago. I've grown, yeah. But I do like that, and I'll share this about Big Bo. So a fun thing to do, because he's such a good sport about it, and because he can make light at everything. One of my favorite things to do is to tell a rookie to ask him about his mom. And he goes off on this tangent, and he knows he's being funny. He's being funny. It's hilarious. I do this to my family members too.
It's so funny.
The other day, I called my cousin because it was.
And that's not to make light of your mom at all.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, my mom would be laughing too. My mom had a great sense of humor, even though all the stuff she was. It's where I get my personality from for the most part, and most of my sense of humor. But it was the other day I called my cousin. And it was her mom's birthday, and I said, hey, did you call your mom for her birthday? And she was like, no, I'm not going to call my mom. I was like, my mom is dead. I wish I could call her. But, I can't. Your mom's alive. And she's waiting on your phone call. I was like, and she was just like, why do you do this to me? Why are you like this? She was like, what's wrong with you? And I was just like, every day I'm just like, man, I wish I could tell my mom happy birthday.
But here you are.
Just ignoring and neglecting. And she was like, you're just an asshole, so.
Insight and some of the sick sense of humor
we have. I've done that to my aunt, my mom's sister. She, we called and I don't know, she wasn't thinking one day, and I was like, hey, how you doing? She was like, good, how you doing? How's your mama doing? I was like, my mom's dead. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And so, I try to use that whenever I can with people just because I like to see the look on their face. And I'm just a jerk, so
that's
awesome.
Awesome.
And when rookies do that, they'll be like, "Hey, LeBeau, how's your family? How's your mom?" I'm like, "My mom's dead. Thanks. I'll cry myself to sleep tonight." And then I just walk off.
And then he'll come back and he'll go on and on and on. They're just like, "What the fuck did I just do?"
Just looking at you like,
and I'm cracking up. I'm just laughing my ass off.
So
yeah.
Go ahead. What's your biggest regret?
That's great. All right, so actually, one of my biggest regrets, because growing up, we all do stupid stuff, and we all make bad decisions, and we hurt people, and all that kind of stuff. But one of my biggest regrets, and assuming this podcast goes on for a long time, they don't shut us down after this.
Yeah.
We'll get into a whole bunch of stuff, I'm sure, but I'll touch on one of them. So my grandfather, right? My dad's dad, my hero.
Yeah, your hero.
My hero. Self-made man.
Oh, yeah.
fought in World War II, was a badass.
Yeah, of course. World War II was.
Super independent guy. Came home from the war. All he had on his back was his uniform. Literally, that's it. Nothing else. No other possessions. Made it through college. Went to Clemson University. Just started showing up.
That's what's up. That's when you can do that. You can get
he just started showing up and made it happen.
Yeah.
Eventually became a student. Wearing the same uniform. Every day going to class. I mean, just amazing. He hitchhiked there.
Yeah.
So, you know, as you grow up, you know, you tend to lose touch with people. You tend to get wrapped up so in yourself and things that you have going on in your life. Yeah, that you tend to forget the importance of relationships and the people in your life.
Oh yeah.
And you sometimes you drift away, right? And so that's kind of what happened. Like he lived in Virginia and then North Carolina and South Carolina. He kind of bounced around between those three. But, I remember going as a kid up there to visit him, and we used to go on these walks every time. He'd take me out. That's it, just me.
Yeah.
And we go down the walks and he'd just talk. He'd just tell stories. And his life was pretty incredible. He had his faults for sure, but overall his life was amazing. And so, just kind of drifted away from him. And he started getting dementia as he got into his 80s, and getting sick, and he just wasn't the same. And I remember the last time I talked to him was when I was going to the police academy. I was about to go to the police academy. He was so proud that I was going to become a cop. So proud. I mean, like, he was elated. And it was a great conversation. I felt, and at the time I was like, God, I gotta be better about this. I got it's time to grow up. I gotta. But what happens? Life.
Oh, yeah.
Life gets in the way. You forget about those things, and then he died.
Yeah.
And those conversations that I wish I'd been able to have with him, advice that I wish I'd been able to gotten, guidance that I wish I'd been able to.
Oh yeah.
Because his son, my dad, is who he is, and we're not close at all. But wasn't really around. But like he was like even when I wasn't talking, even when I hadn't been talking to him, it was just like that was my example of what I should strive to be.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. And I just didn't, maintain that relationship the way I should have. And it was on me. Because he was old and having health problems.
Yeah, and they forget too.
Yeah, it's not. But man, from what I heard later on, he just talked about me all the time, and that was just amazing. But the fact that I didn't step up and keep that relationship the way it should have been, the way I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's by far one of my biggest regrets ever. I wish, you want to do like a time machine and go back and just be like,
oh God.
Yeah, and just fix that. You know what I mean?
If I had a time machine, I would change so many things. I think me and one of my friends actually almost bought a time machine.
Oh, here we go with that. We've talked about this before.
I almost bought one.
Yeah, I know you almost bought it.
I still may. If this podcast blows up, guess who's buying a time machine?
Well, why would you go back in time at this point?
Well, I mean, I can always come back.
It's going to be different, though. There won't be a podcast.
There will be a podcast. I will make sure I find you and just be like, hey, you.
Podcast.
You want to do one? Let's go. It's going to be successful. I bought a time machine.
Anything you want to go fix real quick? Let's do it.
You want to go fix?
Yeah, man, but that's just like, that's probably in my top 5 regrets in my life. Sure. There's more than one, but
oh yeah.
It just all comes down to
no regrets.
But life lessons, right?
Sorry about that. I'm a little congested.
You live and learn from your mistakes, you know. As long as you can learn from them and grow, you become a better person, I think. But anyway, so moving on to something a little lighter, right?
Yes.
We're doing a little Q&A here, right?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite actor / comedian? Now, is this actors that are comedians, or is this actor and comedian?
I think you can just go with either or. Who's your favorite actor, or who's your favorite comedian?
Okay, all right. So, Big Bo.
Richard Pryor.
Favorite comedian?
Favorite.
Because he was also an actor.
Favorite comedian. Richard Pryor, hands down. Nobody's funnier.
So who's your favorite actor?
Ooh. I don't have one.
You don't have one?
No, I don't, because they've changed. Like, there was a point in my life where, like, right around the time Blow came out, Johnny Depp was, like, my favorite actor.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. And I was, like, watching Blow and Donnie Brasco and just a lot of Johnny Depp stuff at the time.
I think everybody's been obsessed with Johnny Depp at some point.
He's a great actor.
He really is.
He is. I mean, you wouldn't know it now, but back then he was doing some good things. And, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was out.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? There were some good things out. But I don't have a favorite actor. I really don't, because there was like a time I was obsessed with Pacino.
Pacino's the man. Liotta's the man.
Yeah, there's
I would not fight that guy. That's a tough dude. Ray Liotta's a tough dude.
Yeah.
At least that's how he comes across. I don't know. So,
who's yours?
Hold on, I got a follow-up question to that. All right, so that was back in the day, right?
Okay.
So, what about now? Like, is there an actor like right now that you just can't get enough of?
That's a loaded question.
Because we've had this conversation.
It'd be the McConaughey.
Oh, God.
It'd be Matthew McConaughey.
That voice.
God, all right.
All right.
I mean, he's the man. He's doing it all.
He is the man.
Yeah.
I love Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, it'd be Matthew McConaughey or, what's his face? He was in The Revenant, Inception.
Are you talking about my man crush?
No, I'm not talking about your man crush.
You're talking about Leo.
Leo, yes. Leonardo DiCaprio.
My man crush was in both of those.
Yes.
By the way.
Tom Hardy.
God, that dude is a... I'm not gay, but just saying. Anyway. So, you know what? If I had to pick a favorite comedian, that's tough, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's tough because, like, freaking, like, Chappelle, like, he just, dude, I cannot, I'm in tears. Like, tears. Now, I haven't seen his most recent one, but is it?
You will be in tears.
Is it hilarious?
Both great stand-ups.
I love Chappelle. You know who I find super annoying as an actor, but I find hilarious otherwise?
Who?
It's Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart's first 3 stand-ups were good, but I think that he kind of fell off.
Well, he
went commercial.
He went commercial, right? Which they all have to, right? Because they want to be anything, but and he can wear on you.
Mm-hmm.
He can wear on you, but like some of his stand-up is just.
Oh yeah, because relatable.
I just like the whole, like every time he does the whole like he's a badass, and then he gets confronted, and he's like, "What?"
That's not me.
Cracks me up, right?
Yeah.
But and then it's like Dennis Leary's older stuff.
Oh yeah,
dude, Dennis Miller before he went like super political.
Yeah, he was really funny.
I even like some of Louis C.K.'s stuff.
Never been a fan.
He's
Never been a fan.
It just depends. Like he's got a very dry sense of humor. But
I think if I had to go dry sense of humor comedian, I would go Seinfeld. His stand-ups are good, and he's not for everybody.
No, he's not, and I'm not one of them.
Not
yeah,
for everybody. But
yeah,
he's funny to me.
I never found his stand-up like super funny.
I think he's hilarious.
Richard Pryor, of course, was great. Eddie Murphy back in the day when he was on doing stand-up. Cosby back in the day, despite his, personal life.
That's one thing Dave Chappelle talks about on his new stand-up.
Oh, God.
And
man.
Hilarious.
I'm sure it is.
It is great. But yeah, the Cosby Before the Rape stuff came out was great.
Yeah.
Even his newest one that he came out with like 2 years ago was hilarious.
Wasn't that the one he was like, he got a little political in that one, right?
Oh, not too much though.
No.
He was still talking about,
That's the one he did in D.C. though, right?
Yes, when he did at the college.
Yeah.
It's still super good.
Actor, I kind of gotta go with actors that were like growing up, like that was the thing. In the 2 act, I don't give a shit what he did. It doesn't matter. Mm-mm. The man is still, to me, is like one of the greatest freaking actors ever.
Racist ass Mel Gibson. I love Mel Gibson. That dude, I'm telling you right now, there's not a movie I've ever seen of his where I was just like, God, he's awesome.
He's just awesome. Him and Denzel. Denzel is the man.
I didn't like Fences, and I don't care. Shoot me. Fight me.
I never saw Fences.
Fight me.
I never saw
Fences.
Fences.
Is not a good movie. It's probably the least good Denzel movie. That
really?
When he just came out with that John S. Esquire or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Great movie. Though.
Yeah, it looked good.
Great movie.
Yeah, I want to see that.
All right.
And then nowadays, I'm with you on the McConaughey. I'm with you on that. All day.
Drink wild turkey because of McConaughey. I don't like the way it tastes.
He's not even like I don't the physical part of it, like I don't even see why people swoon over him, but the voice, man, he's just so smooth. He's just so cool and smooth and laid back.
Yeah, don't let the smooth taste fool you.
And then Tom Hardy, yeah, that's definitely another one.
Calm down there.
I'm telling you.
Calm down.
All right, let's move on to a little listener Q&A.
Okay.
All right. We got a question via the info at streetwarriorradio.com. Please submit your questions to info at streetwarriorradio.com or the website streetwarriorradio.com/contact. We want to hear your questions because it gives us stuff to fill in airtime. Anyway, so this one is from Willie S. Willie S.
All right,
Willie. Willie the Sauce Man.
Willie the Sauce Man.
All right.
Will?
So he asks a two-part question. It is, why is it that admin can't see negative people in the ranks? That's interesting that he asked this question because, until the day we record, we don't put on social media anything about the episode. So that's kind of interesting. And it was the only question that came. No, I'm just kidding. So why is it that admin can't see negative people in the ranks? And why does it seem they always get promoted? That's actually a really good question. That's an interesting question.
That's what we talked about. Why is it that admin can't see negative people in the ranks? Because they hide very well amongst the ranks. They hide who they truly are around admin. There's the people that...
A lot of them play the politics.
Yeah, it's all politics. There's the people that we see, and there's the people that admin see. And the people that admin see is the person you wish that person was all the time around you too.
Oh, yeah. 100,000%.
Yeah, and that's why they get promoted, because they see that person that they can be, that they should be.
Right.
And they think that they're that way all the time, and they end up getting promoted.
Yeah.
And that's...
And it's two-face.
Yeah, it's two-face, because they don't act that way around us.
No.
They only act that way around
unless
admin.
unless those people are present.
Yeah.
In private and when they're present in front of the troops.
Yeah.
Right. They act like they're like the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you get them behind closed doors, it's a whole other story.
Yeah. When you get them by themselves, they're a totally different person.
And I think that answers the second question because they play the game.
Yeah, they play the game.
They play the politics. If you're an outwardly negative person that does not play the politics with your leadership, you don't get promoted.
No, not at all.
Because it's obvious.
Yeah.
They see it. I mean, everybody sees it.
Yeah, they think you don't care.
Right.
And that may not be the truth. Just you're an introvert.
But
they see it as you don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, in this case, actual negative people. So, yeah, they play the game because they know how to play the game.
Yeah.
And
this isn't their first rodeo.
No, and they use others. They tear others down to get ahead.
Yep.
And it's a shame, but it's real and it happens. And that's why we talked about earlier about combating those people.
Yep.
You just stay in the grind.
Stay in the grind, baby.
You work hard.
Yep.
So, Willie S., I hope that answers your question.
I hope you keep grinding, Willie.
Keep grinding. Keep working hard. Don't let those negative people get you down.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's going to be about all we have for tonight. So, Big Bo, would you tell the Street Warriors out there where they can find us and how they can support us?
All right, support the podcast.
If they want to.
They better want to.
They better want to.
They love us. Amazon click-through. Biggest way to support us right now, people. We have partnered up with Amazon. We are an affiliate. So if you're going to do your shopping.
And we have some other stuff in the works. We're working on things.
Yes, we're working on things. I actually got a meeting tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yep.
Support us through Amazon click-through. You can find this podcast on iTunes, GooglePlay, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Speaker, TuneIn, and YouTube. One of the other ways to support us. Go listen to those, subscribe us, like us, share us, tell your friends.
Review.
Comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. All right? You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, at Street Warrior Radio. Twitter, JC, is
STRT, the word warrior, RDIO.
Street Warrior Radio. All right. Like us, tag your friends in some of those posts, okay? We work hard on those posts, all right? I don't know.
It takes a lot of brain power.
Listen, I thought...
They may seem simple, but there's a lot of things behind that.
It takes a while, okay? It takes a lot to come up with original content. Okay?
Jesus.
So...
Show some appreciation.
Show some appreciation, you know? At least throw a LOL under the comments, all right?
Or a little middle finger emoji, something.
Yeah, something to let us know that you're there and, you know, you're liking our stuff. You can submit questions via Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. The best way is to go to info@streetwarriorradios.com, and you can submit your questions. You can go do it through the website at streetwarriorradio.com. All those are great places. Support us by subscribing and leaving reviews on Amazon click-through. All right? So we appreciate it. Street Warrior Radio, Big Bo out. Salute.
And with that, yeah, absolutely. We love hearing from our followers. It is growing daily. I'm like so happy with the growth so far.
Yeah, for sure.
It's growing daily. It's getting out there. One of the best ways you can support us, like you said, is subscribing on all the different podcast platforms that we're out on, or YouTube, liking us and following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'd love to see that. We love your comments. And please reach out to us. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear your war stories. Submit your war stories to us. Life, work-related, doesn't matter. We want to hear them. We want to share them. We want you to be part of the podcast. With that, I want to say thank you to all of our listeners again, to everybody that supports us, to everybody that's been there from the beginning, even before there was a podcast. It was freaking amazing that people were following us.
Yep.
And I want to say thank you to all the men and women in law enforcement, in the military, all first responders, protecting our communities, protecting our country. Everything you guys do is amazing, and we could not have this podcast or live our lives the way that we do without you and the sacrifices that you and your family make. We just can't honor you enough. Words are not enough, no matter what. Words are not enough. And to everyone else out there that just works and goes and supports their families and stays in that grind every day and works hard just to make it, just to get ahead. Thank you so much for what you do. You guys make the world go round. You make life worth fighting for from our perspective. We love your support. And with that, Street Warrior Radio is out of service.